Well, around this time is prom season, and of course, many people come up with, interesting ways to ask a young lady to prom. But when asking someone to prom cross into anti-Black racism, that is an issue. On top of that being an issue is when the Black person themselves is participating in it. And we want to look at this real quick and let's deep dive. So what you see here on the screen, a person had posted this and said, they said they would have to tase me to get off of him. So on the picture, of course, it's about prom. It said, I know I'm not cotton, but will you pick me for prom? Let's talk about that for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this kid, the white one, he didn't grow up in slavery. He didn't grow up in Jim Crow. He didn't grow up in any of that. He didn't grow up in the 1960s. None of that stuff that was going on in the 1960s, this kid was nowhere around. But yet, he's still talking about picking some cotton. I told y'all many, many times before, and I'm talking to people all over the world who are Black. Anti-Black racism is the culture in the folks community. The reason why it's the culture is because when you pass things down to generation, that you're passing down culture. You understand what I'm saying? For him to sit up here and think, number one, that's okay to ask this young Black girl, it leaves me with a lot of questions. One, what made him feel so comfortable where he can do that? Something about her made him feel comfortable because they don't just go do things like that. It's something about her where he felt comfortable. Does she walking around say things against the Black community? Is she's running around here a little anti-Black herself while he felt okay to do that? Did she not grow up around Black people and she feels more white identified? Because the white identified Black girl or Black guy, they'll pull that because they feel that they're oblivious to history, they're oblivious to everything. What about her parents? Who are her parents? And why hasn't her parents taught her the history? Some people could say, well, what if she is a Black immigrant? I don't know if she is or not. I'm questioning it. I'm questioning it a little bit, but I can't just go with that, right? But let's say if she is a Black immigrant, some of that would probably make sense in some instances, but not all Black immigrants would get down like that. So I won't say that either. But all thing that I'm saying is Black immigrant or not, doesn't matter. This is anti-Black racism. Because if you come from the Caribbean, then they had you in slavery too. Even if you came from the African continent. Oh yes, you was enslaved on the African continent in the colonization. They don't like to use the word slavery, but just do the research. Africans were enslaved on the African continent. Oh yes, they were. Oh yes, they were. You think the folks sat up there and did all the work? No. When we see things like this is why I say a long time ago, the folks are not a progressive group of people. They're not. They're not progressive at all. They can't help themselves because they teach anti-Black racism in the home. I've covered stories for 12 years already about how their children, by the age of 2, is saying the N-word. Why? Not because that child just all of a sudden come out the womb saying it. It's because they're saying it in the household. And if they're not saying it in that child's specific household, some family member is saying it. We are rent-free in the mind of these people. Rent-free. We can trust me, we don't even live around a lot of them. We're not in their neighborhoods. They can have states like Maine and Vermont that's majority of them, hardly any Black people. And they still sitting around their dinner table in their house talking about what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? As Black people, we don't discuss them in our everyday life. Only time we discuss them unless it has something to do with the job, or maybe the politicians are doing something that's affecting us. In other words, if they're not affecting us, we don't have nothing to say about them. We don't. The average Black person is not sitting around thinking about, Let me go see what they're doing. We don't, but yet I've heard them say, well, let's go see what the black people are doing. Let's go find out what they're doing. They can't, like I said, they're obsessive with us. Trust me. And it's nowhere we can't go where they're not gonna follow. Because I learned that a long time ago. You can't even say, I'm gonna go to the African continent. I'm gonna go to the Caribbean. Wherever you think you're going as a black nation, they're gonna be on the same planes with you because they can't help themselves. I'm like, I wish their obsession would turn to Chinese people or something. Turn their obsession to Arab people. Like, can you obsess with them for 1,000 years, please? Like, I think you've obsessed with us enough, right? Go mess with them. Go give them your attention and time and go follow them and see what they got going on. Jesus. You know, what contest in hell did we win to sit up here and have to be dealing with you all the time? But that young lady, more than anything, I just got a lot of questions. And maybe if y'all know her or know her parents, let us know, because I'd like to follow up on this story. But this is sickening. But once again, anti-black racism lives in their household. Period. I will always say that. That's why I've always said that they could never, in my opinion, be a romantic choice for a black person, because you can't separate them from their culture and who they are.